changed course, and people have actually been on board these UFOs, and there's no detrimental effect on their well-being,
like
because
inertia causing them to crash
right,
into the side wall or
right,
something like that.
and so that through like a false ceiling that dropped down to the big machines like strippets, punch press, drill press, lathe, all the things for a fabrication machine shop. And so I heard the noise again. I looked towards the back. It was an electrical short, I had no doubt. And I couldn't see any sparks or smoke. And once again I thought, oh, maybe it's just the cat chasing a rat in a big bunch of cardboard boxes in the back of the shop, because Donna's brother had left a bunch of things, his things there in the machine shop. And so I turned back around. I start to turn back around to my stone carving, and I set up on the desk, and I hear another noise, and I look back towards the into the shop, and all of a sudden this sound comes through the electrical conduit, and it comes around and comes up behind me and pulls me into this 220 outlet. And I'm literally being electrocuted. I got pulled into a 220 outlet. My feet are up in the air. I'm shaking. I felt like I was dying. My life started being played backwards. My memory banks started being played backwards, faster and faster. And I went, I grew up with a religious upbringing, and I thought, what can this be? I'm watching my life being played backwards. It's totally wigging me out. I can see different scenes of things that I've done. I get back to college, and when I'm doing things, but everything's backwards. And I'm like getting younger and younger, and I went, oh, in the name of Jesus, I beseech thee, Satan. I thought it was the devil, and I kicked really hard, and I pulled off of this outlet. And I'm sitting there, and I'm like shaking and sweating, and I'm going, oh my God, what is this? What is this? And then I hear the noise again. It pulls me back into the outlet, and my feet are up in the air, and I'm shaking, and my life is going backwards again, faster and faster. And I felt like parts of my life, of my memory, were being erased. Encounters that I had had. I'd had so many encounters. Things that I don't even want to talk about. And I thought, oh no, what is this thing? What is this thing? I'm getting younger and younger. I'm seeing myself in first grade, and then 5 years old, 4 years old. And then I say, in the name of Jesus, I beseech thee, Satan, again. And I kick off of it. And I literally, when I kicked off the second time, I saw in front of me, floating in air, in midair, right in front of me. It looked me right in the face. It was a robot, about 2 feet tall, a mechanical robot. But what was so amazing about this robot? It was floating. It was like, had these weird little mechanical eyes looking right at me. It was made out of pure electrical energy, because I could see all the way through it. It was a hologram. And this robot had played my memories backwards and had eradicated or erased certain parts of it. And so I started walking up to the trailer, and I fell down a couple of times. I literally felt like I'd been electrocuted, and I got up to the door and tried to open the door. Donna came to the door. She heard me, and she opened the door, and she said, Dwayne, what happened? Did you have a heart attack? I said, no. No. She said, do you want something to eat? Do you want something to drink? I said, no, I just have to lay down. And so she helped me into the bedroom, which was the middle bedroom in this double-wide trailer. And just as I sat on the bed, there was a flash of light through the window in the door that was just off of the bedroom that we were renting. And Donna says, what was that? And I said, oh, it's just probably someone turning around at the end of your dad's driveway. And I laid down, and that was like 12 o'clock at night. And about 2 o'clock in the morning, I felt Donna's right foot striking just below my left kneecap. She was a very short lady, and she had come to bed, and I felt her kicking my leg with her right foot. And she said, Dwayne, Dwayne, help me, they've got me. And she was saying this through clenched teeth. She had her teeth together really tight. She said, Dwayne, Dwayne, help me, they've got me. Again, and I sat up and I looked, and her head was against the wall. And then I realized her head was against a 110 outlet. I reached over and grabbed her and threw her out of the bed, and she rolled across the shag carpet. I got down on the floor. I literally threw her out of the bed and got down on the floor because I thought I'd hurt her, and I said, "Donna, are you all right?" She says, "I'm okay." She says, "You won't believe what happened." And I said, "I know what happened. It happened to me." And she reaches up and she goes, "Dwain, I'm bleeding." And she had like this stream of blood running down her neck, coming out from just behind her left ear. And there was a mark that looked like someone had taken a pencil and jabbed her. And I reached up where my head had been against this 220 outlet. I had like dried blood all down my neck and my long hair. And there was like a place where someone had jabbed a pencil right behind my right ear. And that was in Meridian, Texas. 8 o'clock at night, we stopped in a truck stop, got gas, went in the restaurant to eat. And about 11:30, I'll never forget, we watched this young hitchhiker, and he was walking around to the truckers' tables and asking them if they were going to LA, that his mom was in the hospital dying. He was on his way there, and he didn't have money, and the waitresses were kicking him out of the restaurant, and he had to have something to order, and nobody was headed towards LA. It was a, I don't know, I guess they didn't want to give him a ride, and he was like 20 years old, and I looked at him and said, "Hey, guy, I'll help you out. I'll give you a couple bucks." And so I reached in my pocket, pulled out $8, said, "Here's coffee. Get yourself a dinner, and God bless you. I hope you get a ride to LA." And so Lynn and I get in my four-wheel drive truck, 11:30 at night, and we head north of Gallup, going to Farmington on the way to Durango. And somewhere it's halfway between, and I'm driving like 70 miles an hour, and it's 128 miles from Gallup to Farmington. I'm doing 70 miles an hour on a 2-lane highway. All of a sudden, Lynn looks and says, "Dwain, look at this weird light. What is that?" And this looked like a factory. It looked like a electric power plant. There's a lot of electric power plants in that area. But the only thing was, this thing was in the air. And it was flying north. And it had all these, like smokestacks. They weren't sticking straight up. They were leaning back. And it was the most bizarre UFO that I'd ever seen, because it looked like a factory. It looked like a race car because it actually had pipes coming out from under it on an angle. So it had like smokestacks coming out of the top, smokestacks coming out of the bottom, steam coming out. And I'm doing 70 miles an hour, and all of a sudden this thing is ahead of us, just instantly. It's ahead of us, and then it's behind us, and then it's over us, and then it goes, like in a matter of a second, goes up over the mountains, and you can see it like a city giving off a glow, and then it's right beside us. And it must have been, I'd say, 300 yards, 400 yards long, and it was huge. And it played tag with us. And I said, "Lynn," she had this great big camera. I can't remember the brand of the camera, but she was a photographer, and she had like 2 handheld light meters, and the negatives on the film are 3 inches. And I said, "Hey, let's stop and take a picture of this." I had like a little Kodak Instamatic. I said, "Your camera, you can take pictures of it." So I pull over. She said, "Okay." And I pull over, and all of a sudden, once again, in a mechanical voice, Lynn says, "I am going to sleep. The pictures will not turn out." And I went, Lynn, you got to take a picture." I didn't have a mechanical voice that night. I said, "Take a picture, please." And she just fell over in the front seat of my truck. And I went, "Oh my God." And so I started driving again. And I felt like I drove for hours and hours. And I remember coming into south of Farmington. Like I was saying, I've had so many encounters, and so many times people have been with me. Like, I was coming home from school one afternoon last year, and I'm crossing the bridge in Pilar, and my daughter says, "Dad, what's that weird light?" And we look up, and here's a saucer as big as day right above the Rio Grande Gorge north of Pilar, and it's moving to the east, and right behind it is 2 black stealth bombers, and they're right behind it, right on its tail. And then we're looking, and I said, "Well, quick, take a picture." And they're moving across the horizon to the north, and right there in Pilar, the gorge is real wide. So we had like a real nice view of this saucer and these two stealth bombers. And my daughter pulls out the camera and starts taking pictures. And she shoots out 3 shots, and then all of a sudden, this saucer streaks across to the east and disappears. And the bombers are going as fast as they can. These stealth bombers are flying.
And
They were like,
couldn't keep up?
They couldn't keep up. This thing left them sitting.